Hello, everyone. It's Willie G and Chrissa.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great.
It's good. Have you ever been pulled over for something that you deserved and booked?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And what's your view? Fair shot?
Fair shot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you ever been pulled over and booked unfairly?
Well, I suspect so, but I didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
So I guess tonight we're going to talk to someone who has and did work out what to do about it. And we've got Simon Jones with us
Hello.
tonight.
Welcome, Simon.
Welcome.
What happened, mate? Yeah, actually, I'll back up a bit.
Right.
You know, we want to get to the juice, but,
okay.
but what happened? Like, you've been riding for a while now?
Yeah.
Like a year or two?
Just a bit over.
And you're a pretty safe rider. I mean, you've had your
Plenty of experience.
I had my
haven't you?
moments, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I reckon, Simon, you would have copped a few over your 50 years of riding that were fair. Agree?
Yeah, for sure.
And there might have been one or two that maybe weren't fair, but, you know, you've got a pretty good outlook.
Although I'd really say that they're not really fair, right? They just happen to be that I got caught doing something wrong.
And look, it's easy. Like, but you know,
It's a numbers game when it's all said and done.
You can
right?
do
It's
two over.
understandable.
Yes.
It's easy to break the road rules, and you can do 2 over or 22 over, and sometimes you don't mean it. It just happens.
Correct.
And
sometimes you get pulled up for it, and sometimes you don't.
Get away. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
100%. So I know there was a time for you that you got pulled over. My take on it was a bit unfair. In fact, I say it was a lot unfair. And the purpose of the night is for us to understand what your rights are, and yours is a good story, right? So where did it start?
It wasn't a great story for me, but it's a good story for other people to learn from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good answer, good answer.
Learn from them. Awesome. So take us back to the day. What was going on for you?
Today, right. So back in September of 2022, I'd been up having coffee with Knucklehead Willie here, right? And the Worthington crew were going on a ride. They were going away for that weekend. It was a long weekend, so it was double demerits. So these guys had to go somewhere, so I'd taken off towards Wollombi, and I'd stopped to down near Russell the Rhino, right, to take some photos. This is before the road got fixed, by the way. And they came past. I got back on my bike and started to ride towards, still towards Wollombi, but I got near the Laguna, and the police went the other way, and I continued riding, and I was going home via, so I was riding a GS at the time, right, without road tyres on, so I had off-road tyres on it, and I was going to go home via a road's called Waddigan Creek Road, which takes you up over the Waddigans and down through Martinsville and ultimately into Cooranbong.
Which is where you live.
Yeah, which is where I live, yeah,
That's
right.
a great
So
road
it was my route home, right? So I could go via the tar or I could go via the dirt, and the dirt was more interesting. So as it turned out, I got roughly 3.5, 4 kilometres down Waddigan Creek Road and saw the red and blue lights.
You're only after one person.
That's where the summit is.
Well, you know, I knew I was going above the speed limit, right? So I figured, yeah, okay, you must be after me, right? So
when you saw him, what happened after that? What was the first thing you did?
Well, I pulled over.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was no use trying to outrun him, right? And as it turns out, on that road, I was actually doing under the speed limit anyway, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I stopped. We had a chat, and he said he'd called the police pursuit on me, right? And why was I trying to evade him, and why was I going this way
So
home?
that implies that you saw him, made a decision to outrun. And you didn't even know
Yeah,
what
I guess we can go into the facts,
Yeah.
right? As I saw them and as he saw them, right? But on face value, he said that he had called a police pursuit on me, and I told him that I wasn't trying to evade him, right?
Did he believe you?
I think ultimately he did, because he could have taken my licence at the time, right? And I would have had to do some other things to get it back before a court date, but he didn't take it, right? And just told me that there would be some follow-up from it, right?
So that's
I didn't know what it was going to be. Yes, that's the Skies
So
law.
what's the big penalties for Skies law?
Well, look, I think it's roughly 4 years in jail.
Yeah, right. So
Right?
did you realise that at the time?
Exactly.
I did not realise
Yeah,
that
right.
at the time.
Yeah.
So I knew of Skies law. I didn't know what the repercussions
was,
of
yeah.
a penalty. Yeah, right. But
Because
as
a bloke on a trail bike with no number plate
Yeah.
can evade police all day and nothing happens.
yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Well, unless they got cornered or whatever. But yes, you're right.
Yeah.
They could evade police all day. Yes, and they do, right, on a daily basis.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, right. So it's I guess sometimes it is if you're doing the right thing, and not doing the wrong thing,
Yeah.
the right thing, right? You can get pulled over. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's told you there's going to be some follow up.
Yes.
You then hop back on your bike and.
Well, so during our conversation, he told us the
Did
road
you shoot
that I was.
yourself a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
actually,
I-
right?
100%.
Yeah, and I've been booked lots of times, right?
Oh,
Unfortunately,
once or twice,
yeah, right. Look, when you've been riding as long as I have, right? You're
It's going to happen.
yes, right. So anyway, he inferred that the road that he pulled me up on was a 50-kilometre zone, right? And I said that I didn't see any speed signs on there, right? The road I'd peeled off on was a 70-kilometre area, right? So it would have to have been another sign to say take it down. So I said, "Or I'll follow you back, right, and just see if there are any there." So I followed him back, and he pulled over on the corner of the road, off to the side of the road. Started doing some paperwork, I assume, and rather than then turn around and go back, I went to the trading post, the Great Northern Trading Post, to go and have a coffee.
And
right?
collected
So,
yourself.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
This is going to take some explaining at home.
Well, yeah. No,
What
yeah.
just happened?
No, you sit there and you can think about it then, about what happened, right, when you're not riding your bike and doing those things, right? So, and several days passed, right, and then the local, or the constabulary, I shouldn't say local, I should say the Cessnock General Police, right, turned up at my door with a notice to appear in court, right?
That's a little awkward.
Hey,
what did the neighbours say?
They didn't say-
Simon doing the bloody thing again?
No. They just said, "Shit, I'm glad it wasn't me this time." Right? And anyway, so anyway, he inferred that he kind of had to make a brief after that, right? So there's a whole range of things goes on, right? So anyway, I'd done some research with some friends, and we'd worked out that it was a 100-kilometre zone that I was in, right, on the road that he stopped me on, right?
So
because
he was misled?
yeah.
He misled himself.
made-
Well,
a mistake.
he should have known. Well, my view is he's a professional. He should know the rules.
should know, yeah,
the rules are in New South Wales, if a road isn't signposted and the houses are more than 100 metres apart, it's by default a 100-kilometre zone.
So,
right?
so that's a tip for
Yes.
everyone at home. You know, like I wouldn't have known that.
And I didn't know it
clearly
at
you
the time.
I'm not
No.
that great at counting how
No.
the
Yeah,
meters
yeah.
between houses though on the road
So-
that
yeah.
I'm going
So
on.
did you get your tape measure out between the houses and go 101 here? We're right.
No, but you
That's
can
what
measure
Google
distance.
Maps is for.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I was going to say you can use Google Maps to find out.
It's a
Right?
bit-
Yeah. So anyway, so he inferred that I was never going the way I was going. Right.
Which is complete bullshit.
Yeah, he had a couple of reasons for saying that, though. Right. One is because when I followed him back out, I didn't then do another U-turn and
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
to the route I was going, right?
So I shit
Because
myself,
I
but
don't
I
have
needed to
to.
calm down.
Yeah, right. The other one was that he, in a brief later on that he had to fill in, said that only motorbikes that are of or he said the road ultimately went nowhere other than where I'd said it went previously in this conversation. But he also said that only bikes of a motard, right, go that way.
The
Right?
guys-
Or four-wheel drives, right?
Bullshit. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, Motard is like
correct, right?
Doesn't know his
slick
Yes, that's right.
tyres,
Yes, that's
Bumble Hill, yeah,
Correct.
baby.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's obviously not aware that a road bike could even go that way, right?
Well, Harley's done it lots.
Yes, we've
Yeah.
really?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
no, I ran wide.
You must have gone really wide. Yeah. So anyway, so I guess it's important to understand that they're right until you prove yourself innocent, right? And they're part of the court system, right? And Yeah.
And that to me is a difficult part because you assume a level of knowledge and expertise because of the position.
Yeah.
And then you've got to spend the money and the
Yeah.
time and the stress and the resources
Yeah,
to prove otherwise.
Yeah, so effectively I got done for three things. So one is, he said greater than 30 kilometres an hour over the speed limit.
If it was
right?
a 50 zone, then yeah, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
right. So this is for when he first
okay.
apparently saw me, right? The second one was, well, actually, in order of importance from their point of view, was the Criminal Act, which was Sky's Law. The second one it was a Traffic Act law, which is reckless and dangerous driving, right? And the third one was over the speed limit. Yes, 30 kilometres over the speed limit, he said I was doing.
What did he say the reckless was related to?
I think that goes together with trying to get away from the police,
That you would have
Or actually, because the road was, he thought the road was signed at 50. He said he was doing 120 kilometres an hour to catch me, but he also started behind me, so he would have to be going faster.
So if you were doing 100 and he was behind you, he would have to do faster than 100 to catch you. So that makes sense, but he thought it was 50, so reckless riding.
Yeah, and he also had to do a lot faster speed because the footage that was available showed him going past Waddingham Creek Road, so he went maybe 100, 150 metres past.
Way, turned around to follow you, went too far, had to turn around again. So there's a lot of time lost.
Yeah, there is.
Did you hear what sort of cop car was it?
It was a BMW.
So did you hear him rev it? Give it a bit?
No.
You didn't hear any of that?
No.
It's
not a proper video.
I got my helmet on with music. What am I going to hear?
No, when they played the video back.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't. No, you can't hear that. No,
I thought it'd be like Cops, that show.
No,
this is the bit that excites you.
Watching Kane and Sarah. Yeah. So just pause for a second. So what I'm hearing is that the speed limit was wrong.
The speed he said. Yes, correct.
He said you were trying to avoid. You weren't.
Correct.
He said that you're on a your motorbike's not capable of going on
so
that
I think
road.
Those two things were supporting the evading because you're going up a road that your bike's not suited for as well. That's what he thought.
Correct. Yes.
So there wasn't a whole lot of fact in the things that drove his opinion, was there?
No.
Yeah. All right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry. Carry on. What happened then? So you were back at the.
So then I went for coffee, had my coffee, and then rode home. Right. And now I thought, all right. So how am I going to deal with this? Right. So I actually I left it several days. Right. It wasn't until after I got the knock on the door from the police, and because up until that point you don't know anything's going on. Right. It's really hard to involve anyone else. And then once I got that piece of paper that said what the three things were and the notice of the date and time I was to appear in court, I did a bit of a search. Well, not really a search, but I'd previously watching Facebook and those sorts of things, right? I'd seen a name pop up who I thought would probably be the person who could help, and that was a guy called Chris Calpage. I'd seen him on the Old Road post some things, right? And I thought, oh, well, you know what?
Old Road Info?
Sorry?
Old Road Info?
Old Road Info, yeah. And so I thought, you know what? I'll give him a call, right? And see what he's got to say. Anyway, so ultimately I sent him a messenger text and said, hey, look, this has happened, blah, blah, blah. Can I have a chat to you? And he called me back. Right.
Because he's actually put quite a few posts up, I've noticed over the years, but he shares a little bit of perspective and considerations that you take, just in case somebody has made a mistake when they pull you over, what to do. So he seems quite knowledgeable on motorcycling law.
Yes. Well, on the Traffic Act.
Yes.
Yes.
Traffic Act,
I would say not necessarily just
motorcycle
law, but
okay.
Traffic Act. Yes. Right. And I think it'd be if people knew the things that they could get done for, it would be surprising, right? So it can open your eyes quite a lot, right? So,
When was the moment you felt like you're in safe hands? Because he got you off. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
But when
not off everything, but yeah.
No, but,
yes.
but you know,
we'll go through
on any serious charge.
Yeah.
So when did you feel like you're in good hands? Because sometimes you don't know.
Actually, I thought I was in good hands from the start.
Yeah,
right?
good, nice. Yeah.
Right? I never met the guy, right? But his knowledge of talking to me and what could likely happen, he didn't sugarcoat it, right? He said, no, if this goes through in their favour, you're going to go to jail, right?
How'd you feel when he said that?
Well, I thought, not good, right? Because because I didn't want to go meet Bubba. Right? Okay, right. And I like to have, and I like,
look mighty fine, Simon.
I like to have a shower, but I like to have a shower by myself, right? Okay, yeah.
So you're talking about 10 different times appointments that you went back to court, and I can assume this is because it's a fairly complicated thing to be questioning what the authority, the police, are actually saying. So
Well, the police and the court are one entity when it's all said and done, right? And at no time did the policeman attend court.
okay.
Right? Yes.
So was there any time that you said, I'm calling bullshit on this?
Well, pretty much from the start,
Yeah.
right?
Right from the
Right?
beginning.
Yeah, right.
And look,
It's more about how do I prove it.
From the time I got it, right? But but you've got to go through the
prove it,
process,
yeah.
right? Because you are effectively guilty until you can prove your innocence.
when did you realise that you had a good case?
I think ultimately not until we had the report from the traffic forensic investigator. Then that backed up what I said, right? But all you can do then is just present it to the magistrate, right? With some words and those sorts of things, right? And then they can still make up their mind, right?
Legal counsel
Or to be fair, actually, it didn't actually get to the point where what we said to the magistrate mattered because the I don't know what they call him, the prosecutor, right?
Backed out.
Well, not backed out, but he took the traffic report, right? And then we came to a compromise situation where I agreed to one thing and they dropped everything else.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So when...
And I'm here today, so I clearly didn't go to jail.
Yeah,
Right?
and actually, I what was the amount of time between the incident and then the completion of the court?
8 months.
Yeah, so for 8 months, you go, oh shit, I'm going to jail. Maybe.
So what, if
Well,
any,
it was
were
8
there
months
any-
of draining my bank account. We won't go into the numbers, but
Hey,
it's-
is it a Harley engine? No, don't tell me, don't tell me.
no.
We don't want to know the answer to either of those questions.
So it can be quite expensive, right?
But I think it's the stress, it's the sleepless nights, it's the how's my life going to change. So
yeah, right.
Were there any consequences for the officer who made the mistake?
0, and he didn't appear once in the
That's
court.
disappointing.
Yes.
So,
And he was I know he was on stress leave for a little while, right? Because that came up in the hearings, and he was a senior constable at the time, and he was an acting sergeant, right? Yes, and I don't even know if he's. I don't know if he's there anymore or anything, but he didn't ever appear.
and look,
And he might be okay most of the time, right? I mean, to be fair, right? There's bad apples in every bunch, right? But I don't know if he was or wasn't. I got him on a bad day or whatever, right? So, Anyway, it is what it is.
But these mistakes could have had massive consequences for you, your family.
Yeah. So whilst I felt pretty safe, right, after you've got all the evidence to back you, I felt pretty good, right? But and when you finally get the verdict you want, it's good, right? But the thing that disturbed me was for the people who potentially couldn't afford
don't have the means
to do what I did, right? And they're just going to be found guilty, right? Because or they don't have the right lawyer, right, who knows the process, right, to go and get X, Y, and Z done, right, to prove these things out, right? And I'd love to have the money back in my pocket again, but
you don't want to meet Bubba either.
I do not want to meet Bubba, and I'm glad I didn't meet Bubba, right? And but I guess the thing is that other than this podcast we're doing now is that a few other people have known what's happened, right? And they'll know what to do if it happens to them.
So if you had advice for someone, and I'll be clear as to everyone watching, if you break the law, you need to cop it. Right? That's how it is. And if you're being unfairly treated, and you think you're being unfairly treated, what advice would you have for someone?
Well, it's not always advisable to fight it, right? Okay.
Being polite doesn't hurt, does it?
Well, there's no need not to be polite,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. You've got a job. You're just doing something. They've got a job to do, right? Whether they approve of the Traffic Act or don't or whatever, it doesn't really matter in the end of it, right? But nothing can be gained by being antagonistic, right?
Nothing's going to change on the side of the road. So
Or things can only get worse for you if you're not polite and just follow the process, right? Give them the details they need, do everything you have to do so you can keep your license in your pocket that day, right?
Yeah.
As long as you haven't done something it means they'll
yeah.
take it off you straight away, right? But and then go about your business to defend it.
And for those watching, we in about a week's time we're going to interview Chris.
yeah,
And he's coming to the
studio.
the studio.
He's going to come and join us.
And we're going to have a bit of a chat with him about some of the kinds of things that can happen to us.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Simon, if we only knew what some of the laws were, it would really surprise you. And when I read the code on indicators and handlebars. It's a Harley thing, all right.
It doesn't change your behaviour.
But I'm going. Let's see. There's the indicators, right?
Yeah.
So I was surprised with the lack of conformance to some of those standards that are on people's bikes all the time.
Yeah.
And they seem to get away with it, but it doesn't hurt to get your head into what the law is and to know what you're supposed to be doing and then what you take a risk on or you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to getting Chris in
Chris,
here
yeah,
and hearing some stories
Yeah.
and some advice, I hope.
Yeah,
And
I think the reality is that laws get added or traffic laws get added. They very rarely get removed, right? So it's always going up, not down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it shouldn't. The laws that are out there shouldn't stop you enjoying yourself and having a good time, right? So. You should just do it.
Amen to that.
You still need to do it within, have fun within the law, right? But just because there's a law that says you can't do X, Y, and Z, doesn't mean you shouldn't go out there and ride under that limit, right? Or, I think one of those is like if you've got someone on the back of your bike and let's say you have a fatal or whatever, right? I mean, you can effectively be charged for manslaughter, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
If you as a rider are okay, but the person you're with dies, right? So, and I don't think a lot of people who would be doubling people around or have their kids on the back of their bike would comprehend that those things can happen to you, right? Okay,
Yeah.
you just go out, you just get on your bike and you go to have some fun, right? Or enjoy the time. Yeah.
100%. And actually, when I was 21, I had a catch up with a policeman who said I blew a red light. I didn't. I was speeding, might have, and I was dangerous,
wasn't.
and I wasn't. And I didn't know. I was in the same spot, and all day, everyone in front of me, because I wasn't as smart as you, I was the last bloke, so I just watched everyone get their licence ripped up. And 21, I was pretty fresh faced, just got married, and we went through the charges. Long story short, they dropped the dangerous drive and the red light and said, but we got you for the speeding. And he said, look, the normal fine is like $300, like 100 years ago. But have you got any reason to convince the court otherwise? And I said, well, look, I just got married and I'm finding things a bit stiff. And next second, the judge started belly laughing. I just go, oh, fuck, what did I say? It's like, he's like, yeah. Anyway, $75 fine. I had 3 months to pay for it. Boom! It's like, and so I couldn't have planned that, all right?
Yeah,
I couldn't plan that, but it's not surprising. That's normally what happens when you get married. But anyway, you're going to cut that, aren't you, Sean? Yeah.
It's normally greater than a $75 fine, by the way.
Hey?
It's normally greater than a $75 fine.
Yeah, but that
Yes, I know.
He
Yes,
marked
I
me
know.
right down. So, but I thought about, I was naive to the whole process, and the impact was loss of licence for me. For you, was possibly go to jail.
Yes.
And I could only imagine the stress that caused you. And I guess our message is, if you get pulled over and it's unreasonable, if it's reasonable, cop it. If it's unreasonable, get some advice.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Simon. It's good hearing that story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I hope someone gets some benefit from it.
I'm sure they will.
Thanks,
And,
Riz.
Thank you.
And if you've been with us this long, thank you very much. Look out in about a week or so. Riz and I will have a chat with Chris Calpage. And Shauna, you want to flash that up on the... And Chris is a man. I've had a bit of a chat with him already, and he's primed. And we're gonna have a good time here in about a week's time.
100%.
Righto, take care.
Excellent. Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers, bye.